Hey friends, welcome back out to the garden cage, and I need to do some trimming of some dead stuff, some stuff that has blight on it, so I thought I'd bring you along and just talk a little bit about what's going on out here. This is where I have my tomatoes and my peppers and stuff like that, and I feel like I'm really far behind. People are bringing in tons and tons of food, and I knew I was a little behind anyways because of bringing food out. But let's look at what's going on. I have some stuff that has some powdery mildew on it or blight. We're going to get that cut off and get that out of here so it doesn't affect the other stuff. These are my garden sleeves so my arms don't break out, because when I get in some of these prickly things, I get all scratched up. I love these things. I am not sponsored by them or anything, but they are Farmer's Defense. That's what they're called. Let's see if we can focus on that. It's not, it's focusing on my face. Oh shoot. So it's gonna follow my face and not that, but it's Farmer's Defense. If I remember, I'll try to link it down below. They weren't very expensive, tons of patterns, but I love them. I need to get another set, and these ones need a bath. But let's see what we got going on out here in this space. So we're going to start over here, and this is where I've got cucumbers growing, and you can see I've got some stuff going on here. I've got a little guy hanging out down here trying to grow. We're going to let him do his thing. But back in here, and these might be done for the season. I'm going to get all this dead stuff cut off and off of there. Oh, there's a really pretty, I think that's my prettiest cucumber with a spider, I'm hoping, that's crawling on it. I got another tiny one over here. So we're going to get these cut up and cleaned up really quick. That's what I wanted to remove really careful. This powdered stuff, I don't want to fall on the other stuff because it will damage it. So we want to get that off of there. So this front corner of my garden cage was all cucumbers. These were ones that I had bought. Some of them, two of them I had actually started myself. The ones right up against the wood up front I had purchased, and they didn't really do anything at all. But just trying to get the dead leaves off the bottom, so if it rains and the airflow will keep that powdered stuff from showing up on the leaves. So I'm just cleaning up the dead spots. All right, so this is my Roma plant. There are a lot of tomatoes in here that are buried. I'm going to clean it up some so that I can get them to ripen. And if you've been with me on Facebook last year, in the last couple of years, I've had to pull all my green tomatoes off of my plants. I pop them into paper sacks. It takes 5 days to 2 weeks, and they'll eventually turn green. But I'm going to cut off all these extra suckers and stuff so it can just finish producing the fruit that it's trying to produce. All right, so I'm going to bring you down in here. Those were where all my Romas are hiding. So we cleaned that up and got some of the suckers out of there, some of the bad leaves that weren't looking good, so that they can finish doing their thing. I'm going to do the same thing. You can see I have a tomato plant back here that needs to be cleaned up and such. So this one here, we're going to get this one all cleaned up. I have tons of green tomatoes on. Oh, I see one back there blushing. So we're going to get some of this dead stuff cleaned out of these so that these can finish doing what they need to do. As well as I think you can see this one here is all coming out. So we're going to get that one trimmed up as well. It's so funny. I just looked at that plant and I just couldn't make a decision about wanting to cut anything and I couldn't move it. So I just turned around and ignored it. So I'm going to cut back in this corner for a few minutes. This is the back side outside of this tomato plant. And so I'm going to try to get some of that cleaned up. I got some tomatoes there. It's so crazy as I'm cleaning up this back corner. I'm collecting that one tomato that started blushing. I find if I leave them on too long, the animals get to it, mainly some worms. So I take them in the house and let them finish turning red. At this point, I've been collecting 1 or 2 tomatoes at a time for the last few weeks. So either all of them are going to turn suddenly or I'm going to get 1 or 2 tomatoes every night over the next few weeks. But I do just throw them into a bag into the freezer, and that way to can them, I have them all ready at once. But we do eat some fresh, but right now they're just going into a bag and into the freezer. Here I've moved into the other corner of the garden cage, just cleaning up that tomato plant. This is one that I also purchased at the farmer's market called Jet Star, and it's given me quite a few tomatoes up to this point. So it's been a nice little producer of smaller, rounder slicer tomatoes. This is this pepper plant here that we bought at the farmer's market. And I just pulled these 3 peppers off of it. It still has more flowers coming on, so it'll give me a few more peppers before it's done. This pepper here is one that I planted from seed. That's as big as it got. It is starting to produce some flowers now, but I doubt it'll have time to actually make an actual pepper, but we'll see. And this big old pepper back here, we're gonna pick him today. We've been waiting forever for it to turn red, and I want it to, it's getting more buds on top, and I would like for them to have a chance to bloom, but it's putting all of its energy into this, and so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. I've only got one hand, so I'm gonna snip it off. Go ahead and give it a snip. And grab it. This is bigger than my hands. Like, that is a really big pepper. So that is exciting. And I also pulled our 1 tomato. So that is our pepper and tomato harvest for this evening. All right, friends, so that was just a quick few minutes here out in the garden cage. Thank you so much for spending time with me and watching me while I just do a little cleanup. And if this is too short, I may tag on, I'm going to harvest these carrots. So that may come out in a separate video when I actually come out here to harvest all these tomatoes. or it might get tagged on to the end of this video. But if not, look for the carrot harvest that I planted those carrots on March 25th. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy that they are still trying to grow. They're just short carrots. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight while we got a quick snip of the garden in after work. And if you learned something in this video, please like down below. Be sure to leave comments. I do try to comment back. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days if I don't see it right away. And just know that your views are appreciated and loved. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.